Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being patient with this week's uploads. I apologize that there wasn't anything Tuesday, but I did ask you guys what you wanted to see for this Friday, so today. And a lot of you said sort of a spring makeup, and it's just been like really rainy and cold and just feel like doing something different. So we're actually going to play around with color today. And I don't necessarily know that this is something that I would call an everyday spring look. We can certainly do one of those, but it is like a lot of really bright pastel-y colors, and I think it'll be really pretty, hopefully. I have an idea in mind. I don't really know how it's going to turn out, so it could also be disastrous. I do have plenty of makeup wipes next to me. So I actually already did my base. I used the Vapor Luminous foundation. This is a stick foundation. You guys have seen me do that a million times. I just blended it in with a beauty blender, and since we're going for sort of a sheeny, shiny, what other SH words could I come up with, mood, we're going to be using this because it definitely leaves your skin looking dewy. Then I went in with a heavy hand, this Hint Beauty concealer, which you guys also know that I love. These are kind of like the two prep steps, and then the final one is just to prep your lips. We're not doing anything too heavy on the lips, but it's always nice to have them be like full and moisturized. And for that I use the Carigran Naked Cinnamon Lip Whip. I think that's what it's called. As always, the products will be linked down below. But that's sort of what I have going on my base right now, and I just use the concealer in like my darker areas around my mouth. I might go back in and do a little bit on my nose just to cancel out any redness. And then after we're done with the eyes, I'll go ahead and work, you know, under the eyes and put some there and stuff like that. I just felt like it'd be faster to have my base done, so I feel like you guys see me do that all the time, and I don't know how long this eye look is gonna take, so we're trying to be efficient here with our time. I'm just gonna put some brow gel in. I'm really excited. I'm actually gonna be collaborating with another YouTuber, so there's a big surprise coming later. But we are sort of like trading product ideas, just to give you guys like a little preview. And one of the products she recommended was a different brow gel, so now I finally feel like I have an excuse to actually get something new. Okay, so brows are done. That was the easy step, and then I'm actually going to try using a primer on my lids today. I'm going to try the Lily Lolo primer, and this I hope is just going to kind of like cancel everything out, and I hope that it's going to pick up some of the eyeshadows a little bit better, because I am going to be using the Lily Lolo eyeshadow palette. I'm going to be using a couple others because I don't have a palette with all the colors that I want, but I'm going to start off with this and see if it helps everything get a little bit more pigmented. It's actually just going to be the first of 2 cream products we're using on our eyelids. So that definitely did a good job of kind of canceling out my natural color. You can see the difference between the two. And I'm just using a mixture of the 2 shades. There's sort of like a peachy tone, and then there's also a yellowy tone. Okay, so the lid look that we're actually going to do is a very pink lid. So I'm actually going to go ahead in with a blush. This is the Tata Harper Volumizing Lip and Cheek Tint. This is in the color Very Sweet. It's just like a pinky color. It's actually quite pigmented over the eye primer that we were using. I need like another mirror. I have one that's like far off in the distance so you guys can't see it. And then I have one that's right here. I'm just going to sort of pack that onto my lid until I start to see sort of like a glossy, rosy glow. And I'm going to take that just above my lid into my crease. So it's a little bit higher than my eyelid. Sort of in that mode where you come back from vacation and everything that like you needed to deal with before vacation is still there, so you're a little bit overloaded, but that's okay. It'll all sort out again. I'm gonna now go into my ILIA palette. I'm using it because it has the pinkest shadow that I own, and it's the color Rosa Tea, and I'm gonna pack that over the top of my eyelid. And this is not only going to set sort of the cream, but it's going to enhance the pigment because, again, this is a pink color. This is also going to make it a little bit easier to blend more powder products over the top of it. Okay, so the pink is looking pretty good. We might need to go back in, but now we're actually going to shoot over to some more like yellowy orangey colors. So I'm going to change up the palette that I'm using. I'm now going to use the Lily Lolo Filthy Rich palette, and I'm going to be using mainly 2 colors. So I'm going to be using this sort of yellowy gold tone, and I'm also going to be using this orangey peach color. They're both a little bit shimmery, but I think they should work fine. So I'm going to take the orangey color, and that's going to be kind of your dark outer corner color. And so I'm just going to work that right at the outer corner so we start to get some definition. Now always go back in and sort of clean up everything, so don't worry too much about being precise. The best thing you can do is just make sure everything's really well blended. That was actually a lot more pigmented than I thought it would be. And like I said, blending here is the key, so I'm just going to kind of go back and forth with actually a clean brush And just make sure that the orange feels super soft coming out of the pink. So it's almost this gradient effect. I'm gonna take a smaller brush and we're gonna go into that gold yellow color, and that's gonna go on the inner corner, kind of on the upper crease in. So right where kind of the orange stops, that's where I'm placing it, and then dragging it down towards the upper corner. I really want it to be like a pop of yellow, so I'm not gonna go back and forth over it. I'm just sort of placing it at this point, but we'll blend it later. So we sort of have this like gradient of color going on. I honestly want the yellow to be even more intense, so I'm really just gonna take my time and continue to pack on the powder until I feel like the pigment is really there. Okay, so I think it's a little bit more pigmented, so now I'm just gonna take whatever's left on my brush and sort of drag it over the top of the orange, so that way the two colors really feel cohesive and like they connect. It's sort of like a sunrise eyeshadow. It's definitely a very warm look. So using that brush, I'm gonna start working on the under eye. So I'm gonna dip back into this pinky shade that we first started using, and I'm just gonna start at the inner corner and drag it out just to line my whole lower lash line. Need a slightly smaller brush, so I'm just gonna use this flat top brush because I really want the pigment to show. Next, using that small brush, I'm gonna go back into the yellow color, and this is gonna go slightly below and sort of wing under our upper eye. So I'll show you guys what I mean. So starting at the outer corner, it's going slightly below the pink and winging up to sort of connect up here. I'm going to grab eyeliner now and just line very close to my lash line on the top. There's not going to be a wing, just a little bit extra definition. So I decided I actually want to add like a little bit of shimmer before we're done. So I'm just going to place with a brush just some of this Physicians Formula highlight. I'm just going to put it right in the center of my lid. Now I'm going to apply plenty of mascara, but I want it to be very separated on my upper lashes and then just a little bit on my lower lashes. And I actually forgot about doing concealer under my eyes, so I'm going to hold off on the bottom lash mascara. And I'm just going to clean up under my eyes and do some concealer. For that, since I'm pretty dark under my eyes and this is a pretty like heavy look, I am going to use a super heavy duty concealer, which is the Hint Beauty concealer that I used on the rest of my face. And I'm sort of going to use my fingers and just place it in the corners, and then I'm going to use actually a brush to just work it exactly where I want it to go. This actually isn't a concealer brush. I don't know why I said that. This is an eyeshadow brush, but it works really well as a concealer brush too. Okay, now I'm gonna do the bottom lashes. So the great thing about using a blush color on your eye is that you know it's gonna work on your cheeks. It's gonna make it feel like the whole look is really tied together. So I'm actually gonna go back in with the blush we used, and I'm gonna apply that on the apples of my cheeks. I'm gonna be pretty heavy-handed with this and sort of all the way back. And I'm actually gonna apply this to sort of the contour areas of my face. So a little bit up here. I'm just sort of toggling between the two fingers so it's not too much. So we're gonna make all of that connect basically. I'm gonna use a decent amount of highlight. So I'm kind of going into my signature Pop palette from RMS Beauty, and I'm using the Living Luminizer, or excuse me, I'm using the Magic Luminizer, not the Living Luminizer, because the Magic Luminizer is a little bit warmer and will go better with sort of the eye look that we have. And I'm just gonna place this on the high points of my cheekbones and then up underneath in this sort of C shape. And then we're gonna do a very pink lip. So the first step again is using the star of this video, which is the Tata Harper Volumizing Lip and Cheek Tint. And I'm gonna place that on my lips. Again, this is foolproof because you know it'll go with everything. And I want it to be a pretty pale lip, so all I'm gonna do is actually just apply a gloss over top of that, and this is Flutter from Vapor Organic Beauty. These smell so good. And there you have the final look. So this is kind of a easy way to wear color. We have a lot of color going on. We have pink, orange, and yellow, which can seem really intimidating, but hopefully this showed you guys that you can play around with color and it doesn't have to look super dramatic or super crazy, but kind of like just the right amount of color. I'll go ahead and close my eyes like I'm doing right now so that you guys can see the full spectrum. We sort of have this ombre effect going on where there's like this yellow right in the corner that fades into the orange, which then sort of fades into this beautiful rosy tone, which I feel like rosy tones are kind of the spring color and just feeling warm and rich again, and all the flowers are starting to bloom. And then we have this really soft, subtle pink lip, which just complements the whole eye look. I hope you guys enjoyed something a little bit different today, not as neutral of a look as I usually do. So let me know in the comments down below if you like this and what you guys want to see next week. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. I post 2 videos a week, so make sure to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you next Tuesday. Bye!